Good morning, everybody, and happy St. Patrick's Day. Is everybody wearing green today? Today, in our little art class, we are going to be drawing a leprechaun. So grab a crayon and a piece of paper and come join me in some drawing fun. For our art project today, we're going to need a black crayon and a piece of paper. Our very first step is we're going to lay out our paper so it is up and down in the portrait position. So that means it has long edges and short top and bottom. We're going to start off by drawing a little small half circle in the middle of our page. This is going to be the face of our leprechaun, so it can be big or small. Our next step is we're going to start drawing the hat of the leprechaun. So I'm going to draw one straight line going across the top of my little half circle. Then I'm going to draw two shorter lines going above that line. My very next step is I'm going to draw a line that connects these two lines. So I'm going to take my crayon and I'm going to draw a line going straight across. Now I'm going to draw a square on top of that little rectangle. And now I have a completed leprechaun hat. But I'm not quite done yet. I want to draw a buckle. So I'm going to find the inside of my hat and I'm going to draw two squares. So there's my first square, and now on the inside of that I'm going to draw my second square. Now, I'm going to start drawing my leprechaun beard. So around the outside of my beard, I'm going to draw some little bumps around the outside of the face of my leprechaun to create the beard. Now that I have my beard drawn, I'm going to start drawing the body of my leprechaun. I want my leprechaun to look a little round, so I'm going to draw two curved lines going from the sides of his beard. Then I'm going to draw two little squares for his sleeves. And then I'm going to work on drawing the hands. There's lots of ways that you can draw hands. And you can draw hands with 5 fingers, or you could draw little stick figure hands. I'm actually going to do kind of a mixture of the two. I'm going to draw a thumb, and then I'm going to draw kind of a glove shape. So a thumb and then one big oval to get the rest of the hand. So they're kind of like cartoony hands. Now I'm going to draw 3 buttons, 1, 2, 3 on my leprechaun, and then I'm going to draw my face. So the face of the leprechaun is usually a happy face, so I'm going to start off with 2 little dots for the eyes. I'm going to make a little U shape for the nose, and then my leprechaun, I want him to have a little half smile. He's a little bit mischievous. So I'm going to start with my little cheek line, and then I'm going to draw my little smirk going down the side of his face. For the background of my leprechaun, I want to draw a rainbow, but I want to make sure that my rainbow goes behind my leprechaun. It doesn't go straight through it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my little rainbow lines, and they're going to be a little curved. And when I get to this point, see how I'm stopping my crayon and then I'm picking it up right where I think it would be on the other side. So now it looks like the rainbow is behind my leprechaun and not just going straight through it. Now, depending on what you have for supplies, you can color in your leprechaun using colors. You can color it with markers, with crayons, or with watercolor, because these crayons that you have are water resistant. So let's give it a try back in a few minutes and see what our leprechauns look like. So to color my personal leprechaun, I did a crayon and marker combo. What I did was I took my markers and I went around where I had drawn my outline, and I went really slowly to get my markers as close as I could to the outline. The video looks like I'm going pretty fast, but I actually have this video sped up 500% faster than how I actually did it. So I actually went very, very slowly to make sure that I did my very best. So I'm just taking markers here and hugging the outlines of my drawing to get as close as possible. I did my rainbow first because I just like to do the backgrounds before, just so that way I don't accidentally smear on my main picture. So now I took a darker green to do the leprechaun's clothes. And another reason I like this technique is because if you make a mistake with the crayons, this kind of gives you a little buffer zone for when you're coloring. I wanted my leprechaun to look a little bit like Benny Benilde, so I gave him a lighter skin tone, and I decided to leave his beard white just like Benny Benilde. But in order to get that white beard look, I wanted to give it a little bit of an outline, and since I didn't have a white marker, I took a light gray to do his beard. Alright, so now I'm going to start coloring the markers, and even though you can't really tell with my crayons, I am using a level 4 craftsmanship. So I'm coloring it, so I'm coloring all the way, I'm coloring all the way to the lines, and I'm making sure there's very little white space showing in my coloring. So now you can really tell that I'm using the fast forwards feature on this video. And once again, if you don't want to use crayons, feel free to use any sort of art supply that you have. If you have markers, if you have crayons and no markers, if you have watercolors and want to give that a try out, if you want to use just water and create your marker outline to create your own version of watercolors, anything works. But I'd love to see your artwork. Alright, so here is my completed leprechaun, but before I leave, I wanted to add a few little details. So what I did is I'm adding some clovers, and to add clovers, all you need to do is draw 3 hearts that are all connected. And my very last step is I'm going to take a Sharpie and sign my name. Thank you for drawing with me today, and I look forward to seeing your artwork. Happy St. Patrick's Day!